things that surprised me were, one, that the TLM exists.
Yes.
I knew there was something about it in the mists of history, but I didn't know it still existed. And two, that the big difference between the traditional Latin Mass and the new Mass is not Latin. I assumed it was just Latin. There seemed to be deeper, more fundamental differences between the two missals.
Right.
You know, at the traditional Latin Mass, people receive our Lord on their knees, on the tongue. And the way I was catechized, I was told the way you were supposed to receive our Lord in the hand, standing up.
Same way I was.
And so, yes, so, I mean, this has been going on for a while now. But then, of course, there might be particles that remain in your hand. And so
I could tell you horror stories about me chasing down people with the Blessed Sacrament.
just walking away with it.
Yeah, I think of one just a couple weeks ago at a funeral. And so I often get in these kind of discussions about the TLM, Novus Ordo. The question I sometimes ask myself is that in the 1960s at Vatican II, you had the shepherds of the church coming together as an extraordinary act of the magisterium, of ecumenical council, and saying that the Mass needs to be revised. Now, obviously, there's a lot of debate what happened in the late 60s and how we got the Novus Ordo, and people want to complain about that.
Because those were separate things.
Correct, right. And so, but what I sometimes struggle with, but the shepherds of the church, who had, all they had known was that, of course, the Church Latin Mass, said that we do need to make some changes here. And for the sake of evangelizing modern man. And then this is where you get to your original question about, the more reverent feel of the TLM versus the Novus Ordo. Of course, there's a certain subjectivity in that, I would say, because, well, if the TLM has, 15 genuflections, why can't it have 18?
Yep.
Or 25? Or 30, as if the more genuflections, the more signs of the cross somehow makes it more reverent.
So I guess my answer to that would be that this was not something that was just thought up over a period of a few years during a particularly tempestuous time in Western culture, but that this was the product of centuries, over a millennium of development, with some parts dating back to the Apostolic Age, but at least solidifying around the time of St. Gregory the Great and then being codified by Pope St. Pius V at Trent. So there wasn't anything haphazard or knee-jerk here or rushed or particularly controversial, that this was a natural growth.
An organic
change, kind of change.
Right,